Instead of taking the minor inconvenience of you not being able to have sex that night, you're going to abandon your fucking friend in pursuit of a dick. I could literally never shoot me dead before I ever act like that. I actually think that shit is so vile. It's not even funny.
Dude, where are you? Pick up your phone. I'm going to a summer party tonight, and you're obviously invited, so call me back. Okay, love you. Bye.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to Emotionally Online, the weekly summer party for spilling guts and sharing secrets, hosted by yours truly, the one and only Maddie Drosbeck, who is in bestie mode right now. Fully and completely. Many would say I'm always in bestie mode, but I think I'm especially in bestie mode during the month of March because, number one, my birthday's in March, and number two, my bestie's birthday is in March. So we do end up seeing each other in person most Marches, which what a gift is that, to get to spend some time in our mutual birthday month together. But this month is especially full of bestie hours because Ashley just came and visited me last weekend, and then this weekend I'm gonna go visit her because we simply can't stay away from each other. Simply can't stay away from that girl, okay? Her birthday's next week, so we are locked and loaded to celebrate another birthday. I'm a Pisces, she's an Aries. That's my Aries queen. That's my Aries sister right there. Okay, so we're having lots of bestie hours this month. Ashley just visited this past weekend, like I said, and we had the best little weekend together. We sort of were playing everything by ear, and we ended up having what I would describe as being the perfect day. Coming up with a perfect day itinerary accidentally is one of life's simple joys. The night before we had the perfect day, we didn't even know what we were going to do. We were walking home being like, so what should we do tomorrow? What do you think? What are the vibes? And we came up with something so marvelous and so magnificent, it should be studied in a fucking lab, okay? Step 1, you wake up at 7:30. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to all my non-morning people, but you have to. You have to do it. Wake up at 7:30, bright and early. That's kind of the perfect time to wake up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm a morning person, all right? I am. I do apologize for that. 7:30, we wake up. Oh, okay. We put our hair in a little slick back ponytail, put on our cute little sweats, and then we go get coffee and bagels. Pick whatever shop of choice it is for you, all right? We went to Swallow Cafe. Little coffee, little matcha, little bagel action. Step 2, get a day pass to a spa. We personally book day passes to the bathhouse in Williamsburg with a 9 a.m. entry time. We go, we water circuit, little neutral temp pool, into the sauna, into the cold plunge, rinse and repeat. Do that on a loop until you're feeling like you are ready to venture to your next location. Our next location was the movie theater. There's 2 movie theaters in walking distance, or maybe more, 2 that I know of, movie theaters in walking distance from that Williamsburg bathhouse. We picked one. We went and saw Opus at 2:15 after a good 4 hours of leisuring in that bathhouse. We go watch Opus. It sucked. That's okay, because I love being a hater. So it was fun for me regardless, with my bucket of popcorn and my Mondo Diet Coke. All right. That's all I needed. That is simply all I needed. And my bestie right next to me, don't even tempt me with a good time. Okay. We watch our movie. We had a great time. We go back to my apartment. Oh, we're like, time to put on some music, put on a podcast, sit and do our makeup, get beautiful and gorgeous before heading out to the bar. Coincidentally, this bar is also my new favorite bar. It is Syndicated, the movie theater bar restaurant in my neighborhood that I'm telling you guys about, that I've been kind of low-key loving because it's a great social place. All right. The bar is like an island in the middle of the room. They've got high ceilings, movies projected on the walls, semicircle booths lining the walls. Ugh. Okay. What's better than that? We go there for a few hours. We enjoy some beverages. All right. Some appetizers. We sit, we gab, we chat, we people watch. We're having the best time ever. Then we book a dinner reservation, a late dinner reservation at 9:30 for a restaurant just a mere 2 blocks over, Otis in Bushwick. Never been there. I find new places to love every goddamn day. I love New York City. I love the city so much. You never run out of things to do. Book a late dinner reservation there. We continue drinking and eating and gabbing until the wee hours. All right. the perfect day, the perfect goddamn day. So here's the formula, and I hope you never forget it. Bagel, bathhouse, movie theater, girl time, getting ready, bar, new restaurant reservation, in bed by like 12:30 latest. Boom. That's how you fucking do it, people. That's the formula that I just gave to you for free, by the way. That's crazy. Okay. Take it, use it. Figure out a pathing that makes sense within your own city doing those things. But I promise you that is the perfect lineup of activities for equal parts relaxing, gabbing, and also feeling beautiful and hot and gorgeous and sexy and curious and exploring something new. Okay, we've just got perfect mixtures of everything. I left that day being like, oh, my cup is so goddamn full. It is overflowing, people. So I am excited to just keep the good vibes going and go visit Ashley this weekend, have the Boston experience of it all. Obviously, my other besties are also in Boston. Ellie and Meek are there. I'm going to see them too. I'm so excited to be with the girls. But I've been having bestie hours left and right. I actually was reminded of another one of life's small joys, which is, picture this. It's the end of the day. You're cooking yourself dinner. You know, mood lighting is set. The vibes are good. You've got an ice cold Diet Coke in hand while you're cooking. Maybe you're listening to a podcast, listening to some music, scrolling on TikTok while you cook, whatever it is. You're, sufficiently entertained while you're doing this thing. And then, as if the vibes couldn't get any better, at this perfect opportune moment where you're really not doing much, one of your besties FaceTimes you. I can't think of anything better. The other night I was cooking dinner in that exact situation. I was scrolling on TikTok, and actually I was watching a TikTok that I do want to talk about, but it was kind of funny that I was watching this TikTok, and then as I'm watching this TikTok, Ellie called me and she's like, hello, lover girl. How you doing? How's your heart? What are we doing? What are we feeling today? Keep me updated. And we just got to sit and FaceTime and talk while I ate dinner. And then after the fact, we had such a good conversation too. I've actually been thinking about it so often since we had that conversation. I can't wait to continue it this weekend, Miss Ellie, if you're listening to this. I was just like, this is one of the best things in the world. I'm sitting around doing nothing, just, cooking, doing some tasks, where it's like the perfect opportunity for someone to FaceTime me. And then lo and behold, one of my favorite people does. Like, how lucky are we to exist in a time where besties FaceTime you at the perfect moments like that? Come on. Does it get better? Which also kind of connects to the TikTok that I was watching when Ellie called me, which felt very like I had manifested it somehow by watching this TikTok. I was watching this video. This is kind of a long TikTok. I'll try to remember to link it in the description of this podcast. If I don't, just remind me to, and I will. But it is a video about how everyone wants to have a village, but no one wants to be a villager. And it was this woman talking about how to be a better villager and what she had learned from observing her mom and sort of observing how her mom operates in her own friendships among her own village, and how she had witnessed people really show up for each other and be generous towards each other while growing up, and sort of what she learned from that, from being the child of a mother who is very good at being a villager and like curating a village, I guess. I don't know. Curating is not the word. But it was so funny that Ellie called me while I'm watching this video, because Ellie is someone that, number one, is a great villager and is also really, really good at like building her village, inviting people into the village, being the kind of friend that is a villager. Because I think it takes a special kind of person to have that kind of friendship where you're totally intertwined and can really rely on each other emotionally and otherwise. Ellie and I, to acquaint you with my surroundings and my relationships to each person, but Ellie was my college roommate freshman and sophomore year, and then sophomore year after we lived together sophomore year, Ellie transferred schools, still in New York, but she became an RA, which is why we stopped living together. Otherwise I would have lived with Ellie until the dawn of time. Okay. I loved living with Ellie. She was such a good roommate. She was a much better roommate than I was. This is why I live alone now. Ellie also lives alone now. See, we're sisters in that way, but Ellie was a much better roommate than I was. Completely 100%. But even back then, like Ellie, from the start of our friendship, she has really been someone that I could completely and truly rely on. Like Ellie is who I spent election night with the first time that Donald Trump was elected. The two of us were sat in my bed at the time, just like cuddled up watching the TV being like, what the fuck? And she has been so generous to me in so many seasons of life and has really shown up for me, taken care of me. Here's an example of things that Ellie has done, right? When I got hit by a car, told the story before, was crossing the street, hit by a car, ended up in the hospital, whatever. Ellie heard that I was hit by a car. I probably texted her and was like, I just got hit by a car, LMFAO or something like that. Without even missing a beat, she did not respond to me to ask me where I was. She just showed up at the hospital. I was like, how the fuck did you get here? How did you know I was here? How the fuck did you find me? Here she was. And she was like, do you need snacks? I got you stuff from CVS. I got you this. I got you that. I got you. She just showed up and was there. And then the next day when we're at my apartment and I'm laying in bed, who comes over? I lived in fucking Flatbush at the time. Ellie was on the Upper West Side, like near Lincoln Center. Okay. Ellie comes all the way down to Flatbush to take care of me and make sure I'm good in the days that followed. What the fuck? This is the kind of person she is, though. This is what I mean. She is such a good villager. She is such a good friend. She is someone that really gives a fuck about the people that she loves and is just like the person that you hope is in your corner. I don't know how I got so lucky to be surrounded by so many women that are like this, that are just the fucking best. I would die for all of them. So anyways, I just thought that it was so fitting that Ellie FaceTimed me while I'm watching this TikTok of someone talking about how to be a better villager. Meanwhile, one of the best villagers that I've ever had the honor of being in a village with FaceTimes me just to catch up and see how I'm doing. And I'm like, oh God, I love this girl so much. I love this girl so fucking much. I could explode. Okay. I don't know how I got so lucky to be surrounded by so many women that operate on this same frequency where it is true that like a lot of people want to be a part of a village, but there are significantly less people that want to be a villager. People often talk about wanting a certain level of friendship and companionship, and there are fewer people that actually want to put in the effort and time it requires to cultivate those kinds of relationships. I think the reality is that lots of different people have lots of different standards for friendship. And some people are actually not interested in being good villagers. They're not interested in cultivating these like really deep, generous, time-spanning relationships where you're able to really rely on someone as if you're family. Ask them for favors, inconvenience them. Feel free to say the wrong thing in front of them, to mess up, to know that things will be okay, that you can get through that you're not like held at gunpoint to be the perfect version of yourself. These people that you can really let your guard down around and be yourself around. Like even on the phone call that I had with Ellie, I had a conversation with her that night that I've never had with anyone about this thing that exists in the back of my head, this bit of shame that I'm working through in my own life. And I just, swung it into conversation with her. I'm like, okay, have you thought about this before? Because I've been thinking about this a lot before. I did the same thing with Ashley like a few days before. But it's like these people that you feel so truly comfortable with that you're not, hyper-analyzing yourself or like bringing your shame into the conversation at all. They're like extensions of my own heart. They are sisters to me in many ways. And I think a lot of people might say that they want that kind of relationship with people, but they don't actually want to put in the work that it requires to cultivate those. And other people actually don't give a fuck about having those kinds of friendships at all. And I feel like I've observed both in my life in different ways. I feel like I've sort of been perpetually observing other people and the way they operate in friendships and being like, oh, well, that's different than how I operate in friendships for my whole life, in like some harsher ways than others. Like, for example, a less harsh way is just that like in growing up, I feel like I always looked at my parents and their friendships, and my parents did not talk to or hang out with their friends nearly as often as I would think that a person should. But obviously when you are, have raising a family and your friends are also raising families, life can get crazy and you sort of, don't have all the time that you used to. But even still, when I was growing up and seeing how often or little they talked to their friends came around, I was always like, why the fuck do you people live like this? Like, my parents' best friends are each other. And in some ways that's beautiful. And also, I don't aspire to be like my parents in that way. That's probably obvious about me. I think that it takes a village. I want to be a part of a village. I want to be a good villager. My best friends are not competing with my partner, my potential partner. My partner cannot replace my friends. These are like different roles, different people. I don't believe that one person can be your everything. I don't believe that one person should be your everything. I have like really strong, you guys know, if you've been a long time listener of the pod, I have a lot of really like strong opinions when it comes to friendships and integrating those friendships into your life in like a long, meaningful way. And, how people prioritize romantic love over platonic love, and how I think that's all a bunch of hoopla. And that I think that in many ways, friendships are just as much a part of your village as your partner is. And this is true. But that's not always the belief system that's been modeled for me throughout my life. I think that my family was definitely a more traditional setup as far as that goes. My parents got married at like 24, 25. My mom was, at least. My dad's 2 or 3 years older, so maybe he was whatever. I'm not doing math right now, okay? But my parents got married and they settled down in this suburban town. They had 4 kids. Like, they've both had their own jobs. They both have had like a very traditional life path, all things considered, right? And I don't necessarily look at that and think that that's what I want for myself. Obviously, I don't think I want kids. If I get married, cool. If I don't, also cool. It's like not, my future is not something that I am like set in stone about, that I need something from in like a really explicit way. When I think about my future, I know I want to be creative and I want to be around people that I love and I want to be happy. And I just think that the path towards those things sort of evolves as you get older. So I can't tell you what I want when I'm 50 as a 28-year-old. I don't know what I'm going to want when I'm 50. And I don't even want to attempt to venture to answer that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm choosing to take a more untraditional life path in that I'm living in the city I want to live in, despite the fact that it is not near any of my family. I'm not dating. I'm single. Most of my family members are in relationships, and I don't intend on having children. And I have a very unconventional job at the same time. So I feel like it's just, in many ways, I am just not like my parents and the, life path that they were on, the life path that was sort of modeled for me. Not that they ever shoved it down my throat or anything, or like friendship wasn't emphasized as being something that was important to me. I think clearly it was. I think just in looking at my parents' lives and the role that friendship played in their life, I definitely looked at them and was like, I want friendship to play a much more significant role in my own life than I witnessed it play in my parents' lives. And then I think as I've gotten older, you have moments where you realize, oh, wow, some people really don't see friendship the same way that I do. I think I had moments like that in college more often than any other time in my life. Like, hearing how some people would just abandon their friends during a night out. They start flirting with some guy and they want to go home with them. And they're like, all right, fuck y'all. I don't care that my friend is drunk off her ass. Like, good luck. You shouldn't have drank so much. I'm going to go fuck this guy and have a great time. Like, I mean, I've heard stories like that from so many of my friends, them being like abandoned by someone. I remember one time in college, there was like a friend of mine who I don't even remember all of this. I'm going to get some of this wrong 100%, but I remember I had to find her in downtown Manhattan because she had lost her phone and her shoes and she couldn't get into her apartment and she was just stuck downtown with no money and no shoes and no anything. I don't even remember how she got in contact with me. I think she messaged me off someone else's phone on Facebook or something, and I had to go find her and like bring her to shelter again. And I remember being like, how the fuck did this happen? Like, who were you with? I was so mad. I was like, who were you with that left you like this? Because I'm going to fucking beat them up. What the fuck? But I feel like I witnessed so many situations with many people like that over the course of college. Even people just telling me stories, recounting them to me. Like, oh yeah, this person did this. We were out doing this. And then I was like always gobsmacked at the way some people acted in their friendships. Like, people didn't want to be inconvenienced by their friends at all. Your friend is like, so drunk and she's vomiting at the bar, and you're, instead of being sympathetic towards her, you're getting mad and you're rolling your eyes and you're like, God, she's such a mess. Like, just someone throw her an Uber and get her home. Like, I don't give a fuck. I want to go have sex with this guy. Instead of taking the minor inconvenience of you not being able to have sex that night, you're going to abandon your fucking friend in pursuit of a dick. I could literally never shoot me dead before I ever act like that. I like actually think that shit is so vile. It's not even funny. There is like very little things I find to be a bigger red flag than that. Like, deeply. And I've seen people do it my whole life. Even as an adult, I've seen it. And every time I come across people like that, I always am just in my head now, like, because I have such a clear image of what it means to be a good friend. I have good friends in my life. So it's like no skin off my back when I'm hanging out with someone new or I hear through the grapevine that someone is like that. I always just think to myself, like, make note of that. Make note that this is the kind of person they are, because they do not see friendship the same way that you do. Not everyone does, okay? And so part of it is like, yeah, there are some people who really want to be a part of a village but don't want to do what it takes to be a villager. And there are other people that do not care to be villagers. There are other people that actually don't give a fuck about being a part of a village. They actually just want to do whatever the fuck they want, or they want to just, I don't know, find a dick and stick with that. And all your friends can go fuck themselves, I guess. I don't know. I actually am so off put by people like that. It's not even funny. Not even funny. I've probably told stories about the things that I've witnessed people do before, but like, yeah, your friend's getting sick during a night out, and instead of taking her home yourself, you're getting pissed at her and yelling at her, and you're just like want to throw her in an Uber and let her magically get there herself. Like, some of you need a reality check. Deeply sorry, getting drunk and catching a dick is not more important than making sure one of your best friends gets home safely. And actually, not even your best friend. I don't care if it's a fucking acquaintance. That's just how you should treat people. Oh my God. This is part of the villager mentality, though, okay? There's no person left behind. Even the people on, perhaps new additions to the village, a villager that is connected to another villager versus one of your close villagers. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not how you treat people. And I think particularly, like, living in a city that is pretty far from my family members, like, I have had to forge my own kinds of familial relationships in New York, find these friendships with people that I can, share a village with. I'm very grateful to have many people a part of my village, to be in community with other villagers who really care about being good villagers, who want to be a villager, who want to be a part of a community, who want to be inconvenienced and to inconvenience others. Not because it's a bad thing, but because that is part of life. That is part of loving someone. You do things that are inconvenient to you because it is helpful to them. And there's lines with everything, right? We don't need to be like killing ourselves in pursuit of helping our friends, right? But it's like the little things. If you're able to do it, you should do it, because that's part of it. And what this girl was talking about in her TikTok was how like she witnessed so many of her mom's friends growing up really step up to help raise her. You know, driving to soccer practice, to band, picking up when they're sick in the middle of the day, when you bleed through your pants at school, bringing and dropping off a new pair of pants. Shout out to all the people that did that for me when I was in middle school. Fucking my like friends' moms were doing that for me when I was in middle school. I would call my mom being like, Mom, please, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. I just bled through another pair of jeans. I'm hiding in the bathroom. You need to drop something off right now. And actually, this one horrible time, my mom sent one of her coworkers to our house to get a pair of jeans for me, brought it to the school. I go and grab the jeans and I realize they're my sister's jeans. And at the time, I'm like really struggling with my body image. My sister's 4 years younger than me. She's fucking like 9 years old. And I'm 13. And I'm like, so I am gonna lose my mind. I'm actually gonna smash my head into the bathroom sink. What do you mean? I have been dropped off a pair of my sister's pants while the entire back of my jeans is red because I bled through them. Awesome, great. And then I called my mom a second time being like, Mom, she dropped me off Morgan's pants. I don't know what to do. And my mom was like, I don't know what to do either. I have a client. And I was like, fuck. So then I talked to one of my friends and her mom brought me pants. But I was like, fuck. It takes a village, people. Sometimes you gotta just call on other people. What the fuck was I talking about? I'm like bringing up random stories and losing my track here. Right. But this girl in the video was talking about how she witnessed her mom's village show up for her, doing little things like that, picking you up from the airport, and also like smaller things than that. Like you ran out of eggs and you really want to have eggs the next morning. So your friend brings you over a couple of eggs, even if they're not your neighbor. They just bring them over to you, or they make a stop at the grocery store when they're on the way over to your house just to make your life a little bit easier. They hear that you're having guests stay over your house the next weekend. So they drive 30 minutes to your house to drop off some sleeping bags, some extra sleeping bags that they had in their house. You have enough for all the, grandkids and cousins that are coming through that weekend. Like little things that people do going out of their way to make sure that you have what you need, that you don't have to spend extra money to get picked up from the airport or buy these extra sleeping bags or get that extra carton of eggs or whatever it is. Like just looking out for people and going the extra mile to make their life a little bit easier, accepting a small inconvenience because you love them. And that's part of being a villager. And I feel like I am so lucky to have many friends around me in my life, both near and far, that I feel like I can really rely on in that way. Like in New York, a way that I have to rely on my friends quite frequently is for cat sitting, because I travel pretty regularly and I am obsessed with Mango. So I need her to be well loved every single day. So when I leave, I need someone to be here 24/7 or I will cry the whole time I'm not here. So the idea of Mango being by herself actually just makes me ill. It makes me actually ill. I don't understand how people go on vacation for a week at a time and just have their animals on an automatic feeder, or they just have someone pop in for 30 minutes to an hour and that's it. I can't do that. I can't. So I rely on my friends to cat sit, and they stay here at my apartment for the whole week when I'm not here. So Mango is never alone. She always has someone with her. Obviously my friends go to work and they can be normal people. I'm not crazy. Just saying. But they sleep here with Mango because I never want Mango to be alone, and I just want her to be well loved every day of her existence. Okay. She deserves nothing but the best. But I have friends that I can rely on for that. If I need to go out of town, and even if I need to go out of town last minute, last summer when I unexpectedly went to go visit my sister, and I didn't realize that I was going to go visit her until I was literally going. It was like 10 a.m. that morning. I realized I was like, whoa, okay, swing into action. I gotta go be with my sister. So it was like 3 hours later, I was on a plane. So that was an example of me being a villager, good villager to my sister, showing up for her last minute, dropping everything to get on a flight and go to her. And that was an example of my friends being good villagers to me when I called them at the last second and was like, I need to go do this thing. Is there any chance that you can come cat sit Mango? And at the time, I actually didn't know how long I was going for. So it wasn't even like, can you come cat sit Mango for the next 3 days? I was like, I'm going to LA indefinitely. Can you come watch Mango? And without second thought, my friend Jordan was like, absolutely, I can. Whatever you need, go ahead. And I was like, thank God. Thank God I have people I can rely on. Thank God I have people that love me and love Mango and are just like happy to be helpful. And these friends know that they can rely on me in that way as well. If there is anything inconvenient that they want to ask of me, I will be there. Okay? You want me to cat sit? You want me to house sit? You want me to tour an apartment for you while you're out of town? Got it. Got you. Okay. You need me to go pick up some groceries for you on my way over, or even not on my way over. You just simply do not have time and you're just desperate for a little bit of help. Is it possible that you'd be able to grab me some things and bring it over today before this happens? Absolutely, I can. You're depressed and you need help cleaning your room, or you just need someone to help clean your dishes while you finish up work for the day, or, you just need someone to sit with you while you do the dishes. You need company in some way. I don't give a fuck what it is. I would watch paint dry with my best friends. I don't care. I don't care. And actually, like, I think some people enjoy seeing it as like, yes, it is an inconvenience, but it's an inconvenience that I'm happy to take for you. And sometimes that's true. Like, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes that is true. And also, sometimes it's actually not an inconvenience at all. Like, I want more people to know that, like, I am actually not inconvenienced by doing boring things with my friends. I'm not the type of person that is going to shoot down any kind of bestie hours. Sorry, I keep playing with this headband. Visual watchers are just watching me, I don't know, like fidget spin with this headband. And I'm just going to do this the whole episode. So I'm so sorry, but I can't stop touching it. But like, it's actually not inconvenient to me. Like, for example, if you have tickets to a Broadway show or a concert, or there's something that you want to do, some store that you want to visit, a restaurant that you want to try, and you don't think that I'm going to like it, you don't think it's up my speed, I don't give a fuck. Invite me. I will still say yes. Like, I genuinely just want to spend time with the people that I love. And if this is something that you really want to do that is going to make you really happy, then I am happy to tag along and be there for the experience and just learn more about you and what you love and what makes you happy. Even if it's not my kind of music, not my kind of food, not my kind of show, whatever it is, I'm just happy to be there because you're happy to be there. And I love seeing you happy and passionate and engaged, and I will always match your energy, bestie. Like, I meant it when I said that I could sit and watch paint dry with my friends. It actually does not matter to me what we do, and it's not inconvenient to me to do those things at all. But, and something that I think about a lot, and I think I have to work on this as well, but I think oftentimes it is easier to show up for people than it is to ask them to show up for us. I think for many people, the hardest part is actually making the ask. And that is a crucial part of increasing your intimacy level within these friendships. Like, you have to make yourself vulnerable, make the ask to your friends. Like, hey, I really need help with this thing. Hey, I'm really struggling with this. Do you think you can help me? Can you pick me up from the airport? Can you come over and help set up for this game night with me? Can you come and help me clean up because I let my apartment become a mess and I really just need someone to be there with me while I do this whole thing? Whatever it is, I think oftentimes making the ask is the hard part for a lot of people, and it's also one of the most important parts of increasing the closeness in those relationships. To be able to really rely on someone is a different kind of friendship. All friendship has the ability to grow to that place. But I think there are a lot of people who are in relationships where they have enough trust and closeness to escalate, to get even closer, to surpass the next intimacy level of taking it from like friendship to villager, where you're like really showing up for each other. A lot of people have the ability to take it to the next level, but they are too scared to make the ask. And I think sometimes once one person makes the ask, the other person will also feel comfortable making the ask, because you're like, oh, well, this person asked me for this. So now because they did, I feel comfortable asking them for this, and we can have more of a handoff with each other. Or you hope that people do. But point being that I think that we all probably need a little reminder that, yes, part of being a good villager is showing up for your people and being there for your people. But part of being a good villager is also asking for help and inviting people in. And honestly, I think for me, that's probably the harder part. Not in like an emotional way. I find it very easy to let people in emotionally. For sure. But I think the harder part for me is like asking for actual help. Like, for example, I have no problem with telling people that like I'm heartbroken about something, or I'm feeling a lot of shame, a lot of guilt. I'm really working through this. Like, I can talk through how I feel until I'm blue in the face. My problem comes in like actually asking people to take actions to show up for me, or like yeah, that, I guess. I feel comfortable just going to people for emotional things, but when it comes to like actually physically showing up for me, that's what I sometimes have a hard time asking for. And I think this really varies person to person, because I think with my closest friends, I always feel comfortable making the ask. And sometimes, like, I'll give myself grace here. Sometimes if I don't feel comfortable making the ask, it's because I'm uncomfortable in some way, or we're not that close, or we're not there yet. I'm not ready to make that kind of ask yet. That's fine. And also, I think there are absolutely times in my life, in friendship, where I just feel more comfortable being the like carer than I do asking someone to show up and care for me. Like, I think sometimes I am so guilty of being the person that's like, hey, no pressure if not. Like, seriously, fucking ignore me if the answer is no. Don't feel bad about it for even a second. But do you think that you would be able to do this for me? And seriously, no pressure if not. Don't worry about it. Like, fuck me if the answer is no. You know what I mean? Like, don't even worry about it, sister. Forget I said it. I think I am guilty of, like, you know, while I'm making the ask, sort of like apologizing preemptively for even asking it. Like, I'm so sorry, and like, totally ignore me if no. So sorry. Totally fine if not. But here's the ask. And sort of like, I don't know, adding all this padding to make sure that other people don't feel bad saying no to me, because I'm like, you shouldn't feel bad if you say no to me. And also, I feel bad for asking you because I don't want to inconvenience you. But also, this is part of friendship. And the same way that, like, if my friend asked me for a favor, I wouldn't feel any type of way about them. I do not need them to feel guilty. I don't need them to bow at my feet because I helped them with something. Like, this is just what friends do. I don't need you to feel bad about it. I don't need you to act like it's the greatest, gift in the world that I am giving you by showing up. I think that I'm trying to work on getting rid of all of the extra apologies and padding and flowery language, and trying to like ask someone for a favor. I think we should just be direct in asking each other for favors, and know that it's appropriate to do that. It is appropriate to lean on people. It is appropriate to ask people for favors. And if there's something that prevents me from showing up for you, I will communicate that. The same way, if there's something that prevents my friends from showing up for me, they can communicate that to me, and I will not be mad about that. but there's something beautiful in being like really direct and just making the ask and allowing people to go the extra mile for you. Like, I am so much closer with the friends that I have the courage to lean on in those moments. You know? Like, I think back to last year. There was a day that I knew was going to be hard for me. And I had said to my friends, like, I know that this day is going to be a hard day for me. And I was vulnerable in telling them that. I probably could have been even more direct in saying, like, this day is going to be a hard day for me and I would love to spend it with you guys because I know it's going to be hard and I like could use the distraction. Fortunately for me, my friends actually filled in that gap for me. So when I said this day is going to be really hard for me, I had multiple friends that were like, okay, great. So I'm going to come over and we're going to order dinner and we're going to have a great little night. And we did. And I look at moments like that where I have made myself vulnerable in one way or the other and allowed people to show up for me, and witnessing how doing that just totally changes the dynamic of your friendship for the better. And like really the balance of, being there for others and also asking others to be there for you. That is part of how you mitigate resentment in these relationships as well, right? Because when you're constantly showing up for someone and they're never showing up for you, that can cause resentment 100%. And also, you have to make sure you're asking for it before you have that reaction of getting like really resentful about it. And we can hope that like after you get in a routine with someone and like there's a mutual kind of villager to villager trust established, that you don't have to constantly ask for people to support you and people just sort of do. But I think that everyone deserves the grace in like someone asking for you to show up. And really, I think that we should always feel comfortable in asking someone to show up. Because I think sometimes people worry like, all right, maybe they want to be alone. Maybe they need to process this alone. I don't want to impose. I don't want to, force them to open up or tell me about something they're not ready to tell me about. I think it can't hurt to ask for people that are thinking stuff like that. Can't hurt to, just check in with someone and say, do you want to be alone? Or would you like a friend tonight? Are you ready to talk about this? You don't have to tell me anything if you're not ready to talk about this, but just know that when you are ready to talk about it, I'm ready to listen. I do feel like we could all just benefit from more communication and not less, rather than assuming that other people don't want to show up for us and they don't care. We'd be better off to just ask them to show up. And rather than assuming that people don't need us and that they would rather be alone, we should just ask them if they would rather be alone or if they need a friend. Anyways, the beauty of being a villager, being a part of a village and being a good villager. Kind of love this conversation because it feels very like, yeah, there is different levels of intimacy and the kinds of friendship that people seek and want out of life, 100%. And also, this is definitely somewhere along the line connected to like the less traditional view of like what your future could look like. Like my value of friendship is so high because that is who I am. And also some part of this is connected to the fact that when I think about my future, I'm not thinking about starting my own family. Like my friends are my family. Like I love the idea of someday, sharing a plot of land with my besties and having us all have our little houses on this one plot of land. We've actually talked about this before. Me and my friends, we've been like, wouldn't that be crazy if one day, I love seeing those like news stories. People like, a group of friends bought a plot of land and now they all live here together. And everyone's like, that's crazy. I'm like, is it? Is it that insane? Like, I think the idea of chosen family is very foreign to some people. But it's not to me. And so that plays a role in all of this, and like why some people really want to be villagers and want to be good villagers, and why other people really don't care about that. Some people don't value friendship and like non-familial relationships, non-romantic or non-familial relationships in the same way that others do. I don't know. I can't tell you why someone wouldn't. I think my friendships, my platonic relationships are truly the best things that have ever happened to me in my whole goddamn life. But yeah, not everyone values the same things. It's definitely a more queer picture of life and love that I operate under, and thank God. And thank God for that, babe. Audience submissions. Let's dive into some audience submissions. I don't know what that was. I'm very sorry. Hey, Maddie, this is a silly thought that I'm dying to get your opinion on. This is lightly based on true experiences. Have you ever played the classic childhood game, Make It or Break It? Well, we're playing the big girl edition. What do you do if someone you are romantically/sexually interested in and or intimate with makes a living off of art that you consider to be bad? Imagine being married to a person who is lovely in so many ways, but you have to look at their bad art in all of your shared spaces. Can you truly love someone if you don't love their art? Here's what I'll say. To me, it's not about if someone is good or bad at art, because it's all subjective, right? And it could be fantastic, but maybe it's just not for me. To me, the thing that matters is passion and an openness to expansion. I care that the person that I'm with is quite passionate about what they do, that it's not just like something they do for money. It's not just a cash grab or, bad art in the sense that it's like someone cutting corners to make money as quick as possible in that kind. Like, I could never fuck with someone like that. Like the AI art, or like, these artists that just rip off other people's shit and copy it. Like, those people aren't passionate about what they're doing. They're just like, creating this art that is a vessel to making them money in like a really unethical way. To me, that is like, yeah, of course I can't fuck with someone because their art sucks, because they suck. They don't have a passion for this thing. They don't actually care about this thing. This is just a means to getting something to them. And then the other part of it is, like, I want to be with someone that really gives a fuck about what they're doing. You don't even have to be the best at it, but I want you to care about it. I want you to give a fuck. Passion is probably like the most important trait to me in a partner. Passion is the thing I am most attracted to. And it's the thing that I think I would feel the most misunderstood if my partner didn't have. Like, I feel like I am so passionate and so intense that if someone is not passionate, I'm like, we will never understand each other completely. I will be frustrated by you and you will be overwhelmed by me. Like, I need to be with someone who matches me on a passion level. And I think that, obviously passion is it shows up in so many ways, but creativity and passion are like so intertwined. So if you don't have that passion, that's where I can't get into it. And also, if you are so self-involved that you don't have a desire to be better or to grow, expand, push the limits of what your creative thing is, whatever your art is, that's when it would also be a turn off to me. But like, let's say you are dating someone who is, their art form is the trumpet and they love playing the trumpet. They are so passionate about it and they really care about trying to learn and be better. And they put in a lot of time to trying to learn and be better, but like they're still just not the best trumpet player. It doesn't matter to me. And I would find that charming and endearing and quite sweet, to be honest with you. It doesn't matter to me if they're good at it. They could be the worst trumpet player in the world, but if they love it and they really care about putting time in to be better at it, then I think that's all it takes, really. I don't care if you're good at it or not. I care that you love it and that you are invested in it, that it feels like an authentic expression of art. Whether something is good or bad is sort of, it's not up to me. And I actually don't care. If it's genuine, if it is truly from the heart, then that's what matters. So that's my answer. Sorry, it's a little corny. It might also require a little bit of self-awareness too, but maybe that falls into the like ego part of it all. Like they have to actually care about learning and growing and expanding. And I think they should probably have some self-awareness about where they currently stand in that journey. You know what I mean? Like if somebody thought they were the world's best trumpet player and they sucked, but they were really passionate and really cared about becoming even better, but they currently thought they were like the best trumpet player, that might be hard. Mostly because I can't lie. So I'm like, I'm not going to pretend that I think you're great at something if you're not. Like I don't want to lie to you. I can't live a lie like that, But also, like they deserve to be with someone that really loves and believes in them. And if I don't believe in them, then maybe we're just not meant to be. The self-awareness is the third part there. Because like if they're aware that they're like a mid-tier trumpet player, but they want to be better and they're super passionate about it, I'm like, yeah, make all the shitty trumpet music that you want, babe. I support you 100%. But yeah, does that all make sense? Because also like they deserve to be with someone that sees them the way that they see themselves, or like sees them better than they see themselves, believes in them. You know what I mean? And if someone is super passionate and really dedicated to working at something and being better, I inherently believe in them. But like if someone was dating me and they saw my passion, saw my drive, like engaged in all of my conversations and reflections about art and what I'm working on and what I do, like if they engaged with all of that with me and still went home at the end of the day and were like, that girl's crazy delusional, she's never gonna make it, she's never gonna do anything with her life, her stupid silly little videos, I'd be like, you are my biggest hater. I'm sleeping with my biggest hater. Oh my God, get out of here. We gotta leave him. What the hell? You know what I mean? So it's like passion, drive, self-awareness. And if you have those three things and someone is still a hater to you, they're the problem. They're the problem and it's a bad match. And like, that's just, it is what it is. So it really depends on the context. It like swiftly changes in with like the slightest bit of tweaks. But overall, yeah, art is subjective. Someone doesn't have to make my favorite type of music in order for me to recognize their passion, their drive, their potential, their value. Just because it's not like my cup of tea. So like, yes, I could date someone whose art was not my cup of tea, but, and that's a huge but, it would have to be that their art wasn't my cup of tea, but I loved their passion. I loved their drive. I felt that they were quite self-aware about the current status of their art, and I really believed in them to improve. And like I hoped for them and I dreamed for them, and I like truly, I see the vision and I support the vision and I'm with them in that journey to greatness. You know what I mean? That's my final answer. Hi, Maddie. Love your podcast and YouTube channel. It's been such a safe place for me. To get straight into it, is it normal for friends to choose their partners over you? To me, this feels like an obvious question. However, I've had differing opinions from most people I've asked. For context, I had a best friend since we were 7, mid-20s now, and every time she got a boyfriend, especially after 18 when we could drive, Australia. You can't drive until you're 18 in Australia? Learn something new every day. I found that I found that I would talk about making plans and it was always, no, sorry, I'm seeing my boyfriend. I didn't have any issues during the early stages of her relationships, but once I kept asking if she could find one single day a fortnight to catch up, and she was unable to find any time around work and her partner, only when he was working and she was bored, I started feeling like I wasn't a priority as a best friend anymore. There were times when we would have set plans with times and locations, and she'd cancel to spend time with her boyfriend, even after living together. I actually broke the friendship up because of this, and eventually a year later when we rekindled, noticeably after her relationship was over, she got into a new relationship where the same thing happened again, even trying to slot me into a day around her birthday to hang out because the rest was unavailable due to her boyfriend, which ended the friendship again. I would get so upset and feel like an option of convenience only to be loved and cared for when her boyfriend was unavailable and she was bored. I've been told this is what girls do in relationships. It's normal by multiple people. Been called too sensitive and too clingy. I've been told to give her time with her boyfriend, but one of her relationships was 3 years deep and was still the same. So I ask for your opinion on this. Was I in the wrong for ending my friendship of around 15 years because she wouldn't make time for me around her relationship? Here's what I'll say. Is it normal that people do that? Sure, a lot of people do it. Does that mean you have to be okay with it? No. And this connects back to what I was talking about earlier, in that like some people have very different images about what it means to be a good friend. And that's fine, but that doesn't mean you have to accept it. If your friend thinks that their definition of friendship with you is that all that they are willing to invest in your friendship is a hang every once in a blue moon when their boyfriend is busy, and they're gonna schedule you in and move you around and maybe even ask if the boyfriend can tag along. If that's all they're willing to invest in this relationship and that is not enough for you, you are more than entitled to saying, well, we're just a mismatch at this point. And I expect more in my friendships. I think that too often people are let off the hook for abandoning all of their friends when they enter a relationship. I think that is bad. I think we should just call that bad, because here's the thing. When the relationship ends, because so often they do, and you don't have any friends left, that's a problem. We need to find ways to balance our romantic relationships with our friendships. 100%. That should be a priority. And sometimes it can be a journey to figuring that out. Trial and error. We can have open conversations with our friends about how to show up as better friends and strike a better balance. And I've had conversations like that with my friends that have enhanced our friendship when I've expressed like, hey, I haven't seen you around a lot. I kind of miss you. Actually, not kind of, I really miss you. And I would love to see you around more, but it's tough because I feel like I'm really competing with the boyfriend. And most of the time people are really receptive to that. And they're like, you know what? You're so right. I need to, be doing a better job at balancing everything. I really want to spend time with you. Like, thank you for coming to me and telling me this. I think a lot of people do react that way because we're all just doing our best in this life, okay? We're not perfect. Sometimes we do enter a relationship and get swept off our feet, and it's good to have grace for your friends and allow them that space to learn and grow and do better. But it seems like you've given her plenty of time to learn and grow and do better. And you've had conversations and you've expressed your frustration and disappointment and nothing changes. So I think that you're more than, within your right to say that we're just not a match anymore. People change. People's priorities change. And it's not fun to be in a friendship with someone who prioritizes their boyfriend above everything else, but then still expects you to be like the best friend in the world to them. It's not fun. Like, sorry, it's not fair to forget your friends exist when you're in a relationship and then get upset when they're not there anymore. The grass grows where you water it. So, is it normal for people to behave that way? Sure, it's common. That doesn't make it acceptable, though. It's fine to have different values in friendship than some people. Some people want friendships that are deeply uninvested and that don't require that much upkeep. You want friendships that are deeply invested and require upkeep and attention. You want to be intertwined with someone. You want to have friendships that you can really rely on. You want to have villagers. You want to be a part of a village, a community of people that is totally wrapped up in each other, friends that feel like family. This person doesn't seem to see friendship that way. And that's fine. They don't have to. They can see friendship however they want to see friendship. And it's totally fine for you to feel disappointed by that because it is a mismatch. And that's not fair to you that they just totally up and abandon you every time they're in a relationship. God, it's lame. I do think that most people eventually learn. You know, they realize, oh, fuck, I really need my fucking friends. But some people never learn. And that's okay. And sometimes you just have to accept that you are not a good match for each other. And that's fine. So with that, we're going to throw it on over to the Patreon post show. So I'm going to go yap some more. Love you guys so much. I'll see you next week's episode. Goodbye.